Hello, welcome back. Welcome to episode 11 of Fierce Integrity, A Course in Living Your Truth. I'm the author, Maren Barrows. Today we are going to move into the second part of the course. First part of the course was integrity of your thoughts. Second part of the course, integrity of your word. Third part of the course is integrity of your actions. So in integrity of your word, I'll just kind of read you the little preamble. For a course that you may have assumed was mostly about not lying, notice that it has taken us up to lesson 8 to get at the integrity of our speech. As you have now seen, living with fierce integrity involves so much more than the words that we say, although those are important too. If you would like to cultivate more honesty in your speech, the first thing that you need to do is to get really present while you are speaking. We have talked at length about the detrimental impact that time-bending behaviors can have on us. However, when we speak, it is especially important to be here now. When you are truly present with your speech, and you are speaking from the place of your truth, it is much easier to hear the lies that you are telling, both to yourself and to others. To this day, I still catch myself saying things that are less than true. When this used to happen to me, I would just continue talking, telling myself that it didn't really matter. But it does matter. Every time you catch yourself telling a lie, and you choose not to say anything about it, it chips away at your integrity. Imagine your integrity of speech has a form. Let's use the analogy of the form of an egg. Each time you tell a lie and you become aware of it but choose to let it go, you make a small chip into that egg. Eventually, after you have told enough lies and chipped away at the egg, it will eventually break, changing forms completely. In other words, you will lose sight of who you really are. In today's society, lying is a rampant human behavior. I recently heard that the average person tells 3 lies every 10 minutes. That still shocks me when they're having a conversation with someone else. To be honest, I have no idea whether or not this is a true statistic or not, and I tried to look it up. I don't know. It's hilarious if it's true. But when I look at my own behavior in the past, I can see how and why it might be at least somewhat accurate. Like I told you already, I was a huge liar. So why do we lie? Well, the reasons are many. As you can guess, it has to do a lot with the voice in our head and the stories that we are telling ourselves. It also has to do with making assumptions about others. Sometimes we lie out of habit. We say things or relay information that we have never even thought to question. We simply perpetuate the myths that we have accepted as true. There are even times when we lie to protect someone or to help hold on to happiness and hope for just a little while longer. The lie of Santa Claus, for example. Perhaps at this point, you are thinking I might be leading you down a path towards radical honesty. There have been a lot of funny movies made about this topic, including Liar Liar with Jim Carrey and The Invention of Lying with Ricky Gervais. In both of these movies, one of the characters has been rendered incapable of telling a lie, obviously for entertainment purposes, leading to all manner of hilarious situations. While I can appreciate the humor of these types of movies, that is not what I'm after. What I am aiming for is for you to have integrity of speech. And yes, there is a difference between this and radical honesty. Lesson number 8, at baseline, evaluating the accuracy and integrity of your speech. I have already admitted repeatedly that I have told many lies in my past. When I did the work around the integrity of my own speech, I was shocked at how many lies I found myself telling. Once I decided that I wanted to commit to changing this behavior, it was a matter of first being really present with my speech. At first, it was pretty awkward. In the past, I have tended towards speaking before thinking, which means that I really needed to slow things down when I talked. Because of this tendency, I would often catch myself telling a lie and then say, no, wait, that's not entirely true, and then change my words to be more accurate. Over time, I have found that I tend to pause and think before I speak. Not always, but increasingly. In that pause, I try to remember to connect with my heart center, the place of my divine truth, and speak from that place. I try to leave my ego out of it. Doesn't always happen like this, but it's a process and one that I am enjoying growing into. When you are engaging and observing the integrity of your own speech, be gentle with yourself. Know that this type of awareness isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take some patience, and it will come with practice. When you start to discover the types of lies you tend to tell and the reasons why you tell them, first and foremost, be willing to forgive yourself. Remember that you deserve to be held in a state of grace. Question for reflection. Questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how accurate and honest would you say that you are when you speak? 10, you never ever lie. Think radical honesty. 1, you lie to just about everyone all of the time. 2, think about the lies that you have recently told or have told in the past. Can you start to see any patterns? Do you tell the same types of lies? See below for a description of the various types of lies. 3, are there situations in which you seem to consistently lie? Meeting new people, being with people who push your buttons. Number 4, are there certain people you consistently lie to? Action. Begin to bring an increased awareness to your speech. Challenge yourself to speak with 100% accuracy. So here's the types of lies. Number 1, lies that overstate or exaggerate. These types of lies are common when we really want to make a point or spice up the story. They can also pop up when we aren't totally sure of the exact story, so we embellish it a bit. Okay, guilty, guilty, guilty. I still do this. And I have trained up my family, so my son and my partner Perry, we all try to catch each other in 100% accuracy. And the other day, I was on the phone with a friend and I was telling her a story, and my perception of the story was that the person that we had in common that I had run into and hadn't seen in a couple decades was like really excited to see me. And my little peanut gallery 13-year-old son was like, that's not true. He wasn't that excited. So he had his own, this is the nuance. He had his own perception of the situation and how it unfolded, and I had mine. And probably the truth was somewhere in the middle, because I didn't feel like I was embellishing. I didn't feel like I was lying. He did. He totally thought I was. So I think there's some nuance there. Yeah, just to point that out. Like my mom too, my mom is a storyteller, and I'm not great at details. So I sometimes like fill in the gaps just to keep the like container of the story. So I'm aware of this. She does the same thing. So just something to notice. Sometimes I will overstate my knowledge or my experience. And it's one of the funniest things to get called out on, because I kind of feel like I get paid to do that. I have a job as a consultant, and I'm like paid to know the answers, but I don't know the answers, right? Like I just have the amount of experience and training I have, and that's it. And I try to share it as I'm called to, but I'm being paid to be the expert. It's a silly model. But anyway, sometimes in my life, this and I'm pretty good at embodying it with confidence. I just am. And sometimes I'll come home and I'll embody the expert, and Perry's like, he'll call me out. He's like, no, you don't know that. I was like, you're right. I don't know that. I sure sounded like I did though. So it's helpful to have people around you who want to also speak with integrity to call you out on your hilarious thought forms that come out of your mouth. Lies that understate. So these types of lies are used when you don't want to let on that things are as bad as they really are. Lies of omission. Pretty self-explanatory. You deliberately leave out parts of a story in order to deceive or to save face. Half-truths. We use these when we don't want to own up to the whole story and only part of it. And 5, complete fabrications. These are the big ones. Lies that involve no elements of truth whatsoever. So I would say the first 4 of those I definitely have partaken in a lot. The complete fabrications, less so. I think I did that more as a young person when I was trying to be who I thought I needed to be for attachment and connection purposes. I would like just make stuff up fully. Those were the hardest ones, that when they fell out of the closet, the skeleton closet, the warehouse, I was like, oh my God, now I have to go clean that up. So those are the ones that cause the most shame and the most regret and the most like self-flagellation, the ones of like complete fabrication, because like who was that poor unfortunate woman who felt like she needed to totally make something up in order to belong? Like she was lost. She had lost her truth, her true connection to herself. So I don't tend to tell those ones anymore. The other 4 I still definitely will partake in. And I'll tell you one last story. I was at a retreat a couple of years ago, and I usually, like I said, sometimes I'm doing it and I don't even know, and I need people around me to call me out. And I was in a group of women who I really respected and admired. And I felt kind of vulnerable and a little out of place. And I really wanted them to like me. And I was very aware of this. And what I noticed was 2 times during the weekend, I overstated or exaggerated. And it was BS. And then I owned up to it, which is, I think, really cool. That was such a cool opportunity for me to say, you know how I said this thing? Like, I'm not that thing to that extent that I portrayed. Like, I don't know as much about that as I said I did. I only know this much. And so it was really good. And I didn't have this book on my mind. Something that's cool about this course, I think, is if you commit to it, it'll keep working on you even when we don't have it in the front of your mind. Definitely, as I reflect back on this course now, like I'm doing with you out loud, I can see how it's been alive in me this entire time, that I've been spiraling or journeying towards this place of integrity or wholeness this whole time. That's a perfect example. Like, I wasn't thinking of fierce integrity and integrity of my words in that weekend. What I was thinking about is misrepresenting the whole who I am, like misrepresenting my truth. And that's the lens that I was thinking of it. And then I had the courage, and it took a lot of courage, or it felt like it did, to admit that I had done that and be seen in that. And it was really healing. It was really beautiful. So that's the episode for today. And so we'll continue on looking at lying in the next couple of lessons, and we'll see you then.